is being recorded now for our fellow members who are not able to join us. I see our national president is on board. Sir, do you want to kick us off, wrap the gavel, or just say hi, whatever you'd like to do?
Well, if you can hear me, I'll say hi. No gavels to wrap. This is your meeting, and I'm pleased to see as many people have taken time out of their day or their night, as it is, to participate. It's important that we share this kind of information, build enthusiasm, and make things go. You'll also notice I didn't turn my camera on because I don't have a mask, but I was afraid I might scare people. So we'll just kind of leave it like that. And with that, Tim, thank you very much for setting these up. Look forward to the ones in the future, and I'll remind everybody that next month we'll have an online special call meeting of the AVA membership that Tim is helping us to set up. So, Tim, back to you.
Thank you. Oh, very good. Thank you so very much. All right, for bandwidth purposes, and because we're going to ask everybody to go ahead and turn off their cameras. You know how to do that at the bottom, lower, and left. And in fact, go ahead and mute yourselves, please. Anybody who comes into the meeting now is automatically muted so that we don't have folks. Once I get through a couple of PowerPoint slides about what our topic for tonight, which is National Walking Week. And National Walking Week begins the 1st of April. And we'll see a little bit of history of it. It's only a year old, or barely. Yes, it is actually 1 year and a few weeks old. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to get back up here and I'd show from the beginning. National Walking Week. I'll explain what that little logo is up there in the corner here shortly when you see. We actually had some special help that our folks down in Dallas, or down in Texas, were able to get us some extra help. And they did a really nice job supporting us. Some interns in the graphics department of a university. So if you like what you see going on here, by the way, the university program has offered its services to any club that would like to have some graphic work done. So Henry did a great job for us. So I'm going to go ahead and just talk to you a little bit about National Walking Week #2, which is, as they always do, start April 1st and end April 7th. We'll talk a little, I just have only about half a dozen slides so you can get some ideas about what's going on. And then we'll have questions and answers. Well, I see we have some regional directors with us. Of course, we have our president with us. Our national secretary is sitting behind me. So we have some folks who can answer any kind of questions at the end of our talk this evening. What is National Walking Week? Well, it was a 2020 declaration from the board of directors to always make April 1st through 7th a focus of walking. The goal is to provide AVA a critical mass of events to get the national recognition that we want. And it's really important that we work together on this, and that's why we're having this meeting right now. Now, it allows local clubs to get parallel declarations, and I'll show you what I mean by a parallel declarations from your local government agencies and political leaders. And what this was meant to do was piggyback on a now out-of-date event called National Walking Day, which ended in 2019. It was created 12 years prior by the American Heart Association. And now they've moved to, because they realize that the first Wednesday in April is not a very good day to hold national walking events. It just didn't seem to attract an awful lot of attention, but it is well known on the national calendars, and everybody will make reference to it on all the today in history kind of dates, or what day is it on all those, what day is it day, such as National Black Cat Day or National Donut Day or National Red Wine Day or whatever. National Walking Day really is a thing, and it's been around for, as I said, for 12 years from the American Heart Association. They don't use it anymore. And now they have Move More Month. So we're piggybacking off of an abandoned day, National Walking Day, and just making the first 7 days of April always National Walking Week. That means there will always be a weekend somewhere in these 7 days, and we can work on that and use that. But we can use all 7 days, however you want to in your club, to get out the word about the importance of walking. And it meets the AVA national vision to give back to our local communities. This is not about you holding one event and expecting Volksmarchers to come to your event from all over your state. That's not what this is about. This is about all of our clubs doing something locally, trying to reach out to new markets, add to your community, and offering them the opportunity to walk with you. It doesn't have to necessarily be a traditional event. It can be an ACE event. It can be a guided walk. It can be anything you want it to be that will draw attention to the activity of walking. It can be not only the sport of walking that we participate in, it can be walking accessibility in your community, anything dealing with walking. The goal is to get a lot of publicity in a 7-day period and put us kind of sort of on the map. So it's every club participates locally. So don't expect to draw lots of walkers from other clubs because they're going to be busy in their communities putting on their own events. April 7th, 2021 is National Walking Day. It is a Wednesday. As I said, it still exists on the calendar. Now this year, April 4th is Easter Sunday. Don't worry about that. One of the things we were going to do in my club last year was actually work with a group of clergy to actually create a spiritual walk or a local pilgrimage. So you might want to think about doing something like that if you're so inclined and you have that kind of a relationship. So don't be afraid of a religious holiday because you can turn that into a very spiritual event if you would like to do that. And we had a very enthusiastic group of clergy last year here before the COVID situation hit that really did want a local pilgrimage walk between perhaps a couple of different churches or walk between church to church to church to synagogue to whatever within a local community. So there is an opportunity to actually create the sense of a spiritual walk. Or you could partner with local visitor centers, local governments, and we'll show you some examples of that going on. Again, the idea is to get government support of National Walking Week in your community. On the left-hand side, you actually see the declaration that was created in 2020. That is actually downloadable. If you go to the website, nationalwalkingweek.org, that is actually a page right now of the Virginia Volksboard Association, where I'm located, and you can actually download that. All of the things you're going to see tonight are going to be uploaded also to the AVA national website as well as a resource on a resource page as well. So this is all going to be available to you. We took in Virginia that declaration by the board of directors in the AVA, and they all the whereases worked on 5 specific pillars. We'll call them 5 pillars. Benefits of body, mind for physical health, mental health, building relationships, building spiritual connections to nature and to other scenic things, or even within spiritual communities, as I talked about. And the last thing is bonding within families. So those 5 pillars were the whereases. And we went to our government, Virginia government website, where our governor can create proclamations. What you see there is the 2020 Virginia Walking Week proclamation, which made the exact same days. If you look at the bottom of that, Governor Ralph Northam declared the same 7 days as Virginia Walking Week in Virginia to coincide with National Walking Week of the AVA. Beside that is Arlington County, where the U.S. Freedom Walk Festival is headquartered and works, and its county government declared it Arlington Walking Week. Our hope is that as many as folks are here and understand to do know how to do this, go to your local government website. You will see that there, search on it about local proclamations, get your mayor, your county government, your state government. If you're in a state association, work together, work quickly, because many of these kinds of things do take multiple weeks in order to happen. You can't do it and expect it to happen the next day. It does take sometimes 30 days. In Virginia, it's 45 days. So yesterday and today were the last days for us to get our request in for a proclamation using the exact same words that the Governor Northam used last time. So that's really our goal, is to have you go out, get these declarations of wherever you live, proclaim it Walking Week for your community, and to make it your own, and work with your local government, as I said, and really share with your government the importance of walking. This is the old logo we used last year. It's still a valid logo. It really is still a good one. You'll notice that the colors coincide exactly with the branding colors of the AVA's new logo itself. That's one you could still use, and that'll be available. But here are the new logos that were created by a group of college students in a graphic arts department. You'll notice that they chose a cane shield, which is a very historical symbol for those of us that are Volksmarching. So they use that along with the idea of the unification of a ribbon. And that's the symbology. Of course, the colors are exactly the same as our AVA logo. And the other choice is the bottom of a shoe. And you'll notice that both of them, we have a generic one, National Walking Week, because we do want to share this National Walking Week with other organizations. We don't want to hoard it. It would end up like the National Volksmarching Month or something. Nobody else in the United States does National Volksmarching Month. And so it kind of was our thing. And nobody, and unless we publicized it, nobody else was going to do that. Well, the goal here is to have everybody publicize it. National Walking Week from the American Heart Association. And that's why we stay in April, because American Heart Association is going to make us their walking subject matter experts as part of Move More Month. And so we are part of something even bigger than ourselves. And we're sharing National Walking Week with anybody else that wants to do it. You'll notice the pattern in the tennis shoe spells out AVA in a kind of artsy sort of way. And yes, both of those logos together, the generic one and the AVA, show that we do have two left feet, but that's okay. That's a different thing. But you can use one or the other in different sorts of advertising or social media, or make it your own profile picture on your social media site. Now, I'd like you to go ahead. How many of you know what a QR code is? What this square little thing is? I'm going to stop for a minute and I'm going to ask you to, if you have a smartphone like an iPhone or something like that, turn on your cameras and point your cameras at that square. Most smartphones should be smart enough to understand what that is. And if you have a smartphone which can get the internet on it, that QR code will take you to something special. So go ahead and point your smartphone at it, and I'll wait for a few minutes. You're all muted pretty much, so you don't have to tell me what you see, but we'll talk about it afterwards. Well, I'm gonna give you a few more seconds to do this. to see if your smartphone, as I said, is already preloaded with the ability to read this. Most of the younger generations use these things all the time. And so what this QR code is an abbreviation or a special symbol for that website right beside it. That website is to the Woodendale Wanderers Walk in Dale City. And so I wanted you to see what this is because of what's going to happen next. And that's the next thing that these young people who are graphic artists designed for us. And these are start point signs. Down here, you'll see these little circles. But in other words, these little circles for these signs, which would be at each starting point location, if it were open, you would put the QR code for, just as I did, the AVA.org page, which explains everything about my walk, how to sign up for the OSB, or how to sign up for the walk from where the physical start box is located. So that QR code, some phones may not work because you don't have the app loaded into your cell phone yet. As I said, most newer versions, most newer browsers on smartphones currently have it located, but it's okay if you don't. We'll help you find out how to make this work. But you would put that QR code for the individual walk that's associated for that starting point in the circles. And that way the younger generation who wants to know about what's going on at this particular event, at this particular location as a starting point, can pull up all the details on their cell phone about that walk because you've already preloaded them. Yes, and I'll show you how to create a QR code. It's all free. So that's a way to make this work, and a very quick way to get all the directions or all the information about it into your cell phone, into the cell phone for somebody who wants to know what this means, what this starting point is all about. Okay, so that's one of the things that was designed by these young people. We also have certificates available for you. We'll create some more words here. But you see, we have several different versions of a certificate for participating or walking during National Walking Week. And there was a budget given to us by this school as part of this project. And that's what's going to pay for things like certificates and flyers so that you can give them out. We also have social media formatting, little posts that you could use to put on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as you talk about your particular events with the logos on it. All of this is going to be downloadable at the national website as well as the National Walking Week. There's also a blank template. You'll see that you can embed your own picture and use the logos for both the AVA and National Walking Week, as well as this tread pattern, which actually ends up spelling AVA. And that was one of the branding things that these young people created for us, was this idea of our foot tread can actually spell out our name. And so again, these are young folks who really know how to use their cell phones and know how to connect. And this was their recommendations for how we would market ourselves. All right. So we're at the question point. What comes next? Get a proclamation going quickly in your community. Again, I recommend, if not tonight, tomorrow, immediately get on, start looking at what is it going to take to get your mayor, your county government, excuse me, your governor to create Walking Week in your communities. Plan a walk or two to highlight some interesting places. Could be a traditional, could be a guided walk, an ACE event, any other activity, your choice. We do have a draft of a press release, but one of the important things is you do not send out press releases any further away than 30 days before the event. So we're going to hold off on that. And then once we get into March, we'll start releasing templates on how you get out press releases to talk about specific walks that you're going to plan, or just about walking week in general, and what your club's goals are for the year. With some signage to your starting points if they are open. We'll talk to you later, and we'll get out information to you about it, probably in the March checkpoint, about how you can get certificates that are going to be pre-printed from the budget that was created from this. So that's those are the things that I wanted to share with you. I'm going to turn on my camera. You are welcome to turn on your cameras if you want. And now let's talk about what questions do you have, or thoughts or suggestions about these particular sorts of things. John, you seem to have some comments, and your perspective as a club leader down there in sunny Florida, and as a manager of clubs out there. What do you think? What comments do you have, sir? Hopefully John is paying attention. I'm putting him on the spot. Sorry about that. John McClellan, do you have anything you want to say? I'm surprised if you don't, but that's all right. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Who else has a question? Unmute down at the lower left, and just if you have a question, what questions should we talk about this? Okay. What if you don't have Google Chrome? I'm not sure what Google Chrome makes a difference one way or the other. iPhones or Apple, all of this should be totally available to you, regardless of what kind of smartphone you have. It is a generic function that most really smartphones now have. And as I said, most young people insist that their phones have this ability to read QR codes.
Also,
Go ahead.
Also, there's an app on every phone that you can get. So
Very true.
And just look for QR code.
Yep, very true. And we can create a set of instructions. So how do you create a QR code? I'm actually going to write up a little diagram about how to do that. And if you just go to your browser and your website, at your website, and just go to create a QR code, it will actually take you to several free websites where you just type, where you cut and paste. I'm going to go back. I need you to see what the URL is, what the website address is. Just a minute. I'm going to go back and share that. Just a moment. And
There's apps all over the place.
Current slide. Okay, sorry. Let me go back here. All right. So the this is the address for every single one of our events out there at https://myava.org/event-view.php?SN, and then the 6-digit number of your event. If you go to your legacy website, or you go to even the new myava.org description of your event that you're using to advertise and tell people about it, there's a 6-digit number. That is you put in that 6-digit number that is unique for your walk. And at that point, you take that address, you copy that whole address, put it into a QR code creator, and you will get a very unique square like that. And you can copy it and paste it into a sign. And from there, you can print it, cut it out, tape it over. Tape won't impact the camera at all. It's the shape, it's the black and whites that make it work. So You create this QR code and you put it up at your starting point. On one of these signs, advertise National Walking Week. And actually, I would hope that you would want to keep this QR code available, and we'll come up with some additional signs that maybe you want to, if this works out well for you, allow your starting points to have a sign in the window with a QR code for your event that starts there. And it allows other folks who might be interested, what is this QR code about? What is the starting point for this walk about? Flash that QR code, and your page on the myava.org website talks about the specific walk that starts in that location, and you sell it. You're essentially selling this walk to others who may not know anything about the American Volkssport, AVA, or America's Walking Club, or anything about your club itself. So you can, doesn't have to be this particular MyAVA description of the walk. It could be, you can create a QR code to your own club website. You could do anything you want to help market yourself at this particular starting point location. And that's one of the real benefits of us having physical start boxes, or jointly having physical start boxes along with a online start box. It gives us a place to market ourselves if you would like to do that. So hopefully that tells you a little bit about what the QR code is all about. So I guess the question is, love to hear other ideas about how to recruit members. Well, that sounds like a good group discussion question. What do you think? How could we use National Walking Week to recruit new members besides what I just described, putting up signs at all our starting locations? Any other thoughts out there? Unmute yourself and speak up, please. You can certainly do an unsanctioned event anytime you want to do an unsanctioned event. That's called an ACE event, a community ACE event. And you're welcome. There are ways to do that sort of thing. You can certainly do an unsanctioned event on Easter Day or any time during this week.
What you can do,
yes,
is find some areas that people like to walk and carry flyers around with you. And as you pass somebody, just start up a chat with them and say, here's something about our club.
Very true. I'm hoping that many of you have walking wear, some sort of shirt or jacket or something else with a logo on it. That might be one of the uses we have of this $1,000 we were given to market these logos. Perhaps we can create some shirts with logos on them, or something you can wear on your physically that actually talks about National Walking Week, and you become a walking poster. That might be a way to do it. Again, the idea is to be as creative as you possibly can. So that's why this is a group discussion. If you have other ideas out there, please. What do you think?
Tim?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple questions. If we plan this thing, we don't have to liaison with AVA in any way to tell them what we're doing. We just do it. I mean, we could send you pictures later. We could tell you how many people turned out, but there's no stamping of any books, no telling AVA or anything. It's our private business here.
It's essentially your private business. If you would like to order certificates, you can do that. We'll tell you how. We'll get out in the March checkpoint how you can do that. We would love to hear what you do. We would love to report in it, and that maybe a TAW in the future, talk about all the different creative ideas and gather some best practices. This is brand new. We just didn't have the chance to really make it work in 2020 because of all the shutdowns that quickly happened to us in the springtime. So this is essentially a brand new thing. Please use whatever AVA product or any kind of walking thing you want to do. You are the masters of your own destiny here now. So
Please, I think it
whatever
needs,
you'd like to do.
But in no way we should, use any stamp or anything unless we happen to do a YRE or something that,
one,
Yes. If you have a guided walk or if you have a traditional walk, please do use your stamp. In the future, I suspect we'll have National Walking Week stamps. For this year, we're not. Mike,
can I
did
point
you
out
have-
something?
Please.
I mean, if you use a walk and you don't sign people up, then you're insuring your walk, not the AVA. That's one of the advantages of doing an AVA walk. And they sign that log with the waiver on it, is that you get insurance as club members. They sue you for some reason because they fell on your walk, the AVA will back you up with insurance. That's one of the reasons for doing it as an AVA walk.
Even if it's an ace.
Yeah, be sure you look at the policy manual about what an ACE walk is, which is a non-IVV walk. So there won't be an IVV stamp, but you're still creating a walk. There would be a registration process just to get that insurance and to work with that. And that's all in the AVA policy manual. We also had a previous webinar on ACE events. So you're welcome to go back and look at those. Look at that just to refresh your memory about what an ACE event is, which again is a non-IVV stamp walk. So did that answer your question, Carol? Everything? Okay, great. What other thoughts do you have? Questions, perhaps? Sure, the QR code could certainly be added to Facebook. You can put it anywhere you want to, and anybody can point their cell phones at the QR code at any time and get information about your different kinds of walks. It's a great way of advertising what you're doing and specifically what you're doing. The policy manual is actually downloadable from the AVA website. It certainly is, and available to everybody. So, yes. So Leslie, you have ACE walks. Did you want to take a moment and unmute and tell us about your ACE walks and what that ACE walk is, what those ACE walks are all about?
Yeah, our ACE walks are done every Wednesday night. We have a log. It's not the same log as the year-round log, but it is a log, and basically you are signing a waiver. Our walks are free, but the club does pay $3 to the AVA for every walk, and that covers our insurance. So we do have insurance. We report this to the AVA. It shows up on our quarterly statement, how many ACE walks we had, and they charge us $3 per.
Right, I mean, what you pay the AVA is actually $1.25 per, yeah, the walkers pay.
No, not for an ACE walk. We pay $3 per event.
Yeah, but what ultimately goes to the AVA is $1.25 per
No,
walk.
no, she's. talking
No,
Per walk, not per walk.
Oh, per walk,
Yeah.
ACE-WG, thank you. Not AC, there's multiple ACEs, sorry.
right. It's $3 per event. And it's added on. We report like we do about 13 a quarter. And so we're billed 3 times 13 on our quarterly invoice with all the year-round payments and stuff like that.
Yes,
So there is insurance coverage for ACE walks, but you do have to report it to the AVA, and you do have to have a log and a
Very good.
map.
yes.
Okay. But ACE walks are not governed by IVV rules. They don't have to be 5 or 10 kilometers. They can be 1 kilometer. They can be whatever it is you want.
Whatever you want. Mhm.
Yep. So, what other questions do you have? I'm hoping that that you're being inspired. That's what the whole purpose of us coming together is, for you to be as creative as you can be with how you market yourself during this 7-day period and even approaching that 7-day period, how would you market yourself and really emphasize that there are hundreds of clubs around the United States doing walks as part of National Walking Week. Talk about it, share the logo, the generic logo to Walking Week with others and get them to start talking about it. Certainly you want to get your local governments, your tourist bureaus, your visitors bureaus. Those are other great places to put up flyers, to put up your QR codes for your community. Go to your visitor centers and tourist information centers and talk about walking there. Put up these flyers for Walking Week. So very good about using your local newsletter to help share this information. That's a great idea, Jan. You'd like to email the certificates? Yeah, sure. You mean we will give you the template, you create the certificate, you just turn around and email it. That's a possibility, no printing cost at all. A lot of virtual events have been doing that for the last year. Just creating a PDF of the certificate and let the individual walker print it themselves in their own home printer. So yes, there will be a page on the AVA website which will have all this material for you to use. Okay. Will it be the legacy site? I don't think so. I suspect Hector is waiting to put this on the new the ava.org website. If you just go to ava.org, it should be under club materials, or will be, and you'll certainly know about it when it happens. We'll make sure that an email goes out to every club to let them know that all this material is available now.
Tim, can I jump in for a second?
Please go right ahead, sir.
I have to drop off, and I wanted to kind of piggyback on what Tim said about enthusiasm. I would hope that this group can capture just a little bit of the enthusiasm that Tim has for this program and for this opportunity. Then the key is to share that enthusiasm with your community. If you're not out there excited about what you're doing and sharing that excitement, other people aren't going to want to join you. And if they join you once, they'll never come back. So please build that excitement, build that enthusiasm, and tap off of some of this stuff that Tim is sharing and some of the enthusiasm that he brings to this, and we can make this something special. Many of you remember A Time to Walk. That turned out to be a real special time across the country. This can be that on steroids. It can be even better than that, but it's how we deal with it. So I apologize, I have to drop off, but Tim, great webinar. All of you folks, thank you for all you do for AVA, for your local clubs, for your own health. Share that with your friends, your family, and people in the community. Thanks a lot, Tim. Good night, everybody.
Thanks so much. Good night. Thank you so much. Well, what else would you like to, and we don't, once our questions start ending here, we have our vice president is on. Thank you, Nancy, for staying with us. We have other officers and regional directors. We can open this up to a general open mic session and a chance for you to interact with our national leadership and your regional leadership as well.
Here's an idea with the QR code. Get the web address and the QR code printed on a t-shirt.
Now, that's a great thing. I think that would be a lot of fun to do that if you had one walk you really wanted to highlight and to put your QR code on a t-shirt.
That way you don't give people any paperwork and they just take a picture with their cell phone and they got it right there.
That would be an interesting way of printing up the QR code. Certainly an important thing. So what else would you like to chat about, or if not, National Walking Week? Again, down on the lower left-hand side is where you unmute yourself, and please just speak up. So great ideas.
Okay, this is Susan, and I'm from Iowa's Walking Club, and our name probably says it all. We are the only folk sport association in Iowa. So this event for us is a big way to connect with our members all over the state. So right now, I think we have about 14 walks planned all over the state. And they're all just casual walks. Well, predominantly just casual walks. I think only one or two are gonna, of our walk leaders are gonna do a traditional or a year-round event for their walk. We see this as a great way to connect with a lot of people that normally don't come out and walk with us. And the graphics are awesome. I think we're probably going to be really happy to download those and use those in some of our materials. We've ordered our proclamation. We've got prizes, and we're just really enthusiastic about this as a kickoff to our walking season. Hopefully the snow will be gone by then. It's here to stay for now, but yay, April.
Very good, Susan. Thank you so very much for sharing that. So there is a lot of enthusiasm around the United States for this. So
Those casual walks, Susan, are they ACE walks?
I
Susan,
told my plan sponsor or my walk leaders they did not have to do directions or maps. All they had to do was lead the walk. So no, they won't be ACE walks.
so how's your insurance going to happen?
Nobody's gonna fall over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just make sure that snow's gone, okay?
Yeah.
No cow tipping.
Yeah. We are not gonna tip any cows. No, no hikes through the field.
My wife said she wasn't going to fall down, but she wound up with a broken arm, so that can happen.
well, that is an important thing to be careful about, just to make sure that safety is our number one priority as we walk. So, okay. What else would you like to chat about? Everybody know where they're going to go, who they're going to go get a proclamation from?
I just wanted
the
to,
mayor?
I just
Or-
wanted to put out one statement. The Empire State Boatsporters do a lot of guided traditional walks. There's probably no more than 2 or 4 maps. 2 maps for the fast group, 1 for the leader and 1 for the sweep, and 2 maps for the slow group, 1 for the leader, 1 for the sleep. That's about it. So I don't think you need a map for everybody.
You don't need a map for everybody, but you've got a route because you have maps the way you're going to go. And you've got leaders for that group. So it's mapped. And you
Yeah.
don't need to give a map to everybody.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't need to give a map to anybody, everybody. You have a map on file and a leader has it. That's all you need.
I can clarify a little bit on the ACE walks. One of the requirements for the insurance is that you have a map. We never use a map, but we have a map. So we have a map prepared in our files. We don't use a map when we walk, but one of the requirements for the insurance, as I am told, is that you have to have a map.
That is
Yeah,
true
in other
statement.
words, a route. It has to be a route, not just you're off wandering in the wilderness, so, yeah.
Now, one thing about a map, when everybody has one, they bring it home and sometimes they may look back at it and say, oh, I like that. So I'm going to go back to that club. So while you think it's a waste of paper, it's not. It's advertising.
Like I said, we don't use a map, and especially if we're walking on the beach, we just go like and see if it's high tide and what way the wind's blowing and head out and walk on our ACE walks. But to get the insurance, it requires us to have a route for that walk. And so we've created for most of them, we do have a map. It's never seen, it's never used, but we have one.
And I think you meet the intention there of the,
Got it.
that you're going out on a planned route.
Right.
And that's the That's what they mean by having a map,
Yeah.
is you have a planned route.
Yeah.
You know where you're going. You've already planned this out. So, all right. Other thoughts? Well, I guess, you know, I don't want to keep you here much longer. It is Mardi Gras for those who are trying to celebrate at their home, or Fat Tuesday while they're celebrating at home, for those who do that sort of thing. So it really has been a great opportunity for us to talk. Now, again, next month, really critical that you register. Every club should try to have a representative, because you are going to vote on these major changes and significant changes to the AVA bylaws and the AVA governance documents. You should already have received that information from your regional director. So again, it's not going to be a Wednesday, it's on a Monday, the 15th. Please make sure, and you will be voting for the change. This will be an official membership voting session. So there will be two polling questions, and you will be responding to the question, yes or no, about accepting up or down the changes to these to the bylaws. So please make sure you have at least one representative who is identified as the voter. Other folks are more than welcome to come to these webinars. We can have up to 500 people on these. These are high-powered steroid webinars in order to reach as many of our members as possible. So please really pay attention to what's going to happen next month. It really is significant for our direction at the AVA, America's Walking Club. So,
And we were at the board meeting today, and it's important, if you can't be at that March 15, that you download the ballot or call, I think it's Samantha at the AVA office to have her send you a ballot. So that, but you can only vote once. And that means either a ballot or somebody voting at the meeting. Because if there's two votes from the same club, it may be thrown out, depending on, you can't vote twice. A club can't vote twice, in other words.
very good. All right. Well, again, thank you all so very, very, very much for joining us here. I really like these webinars. We really are all across the country, and it really does make me feel like we really are America's Walking Club. So it's a great feeling to be connected to all of you in this way, even if we are, well, just looking at each other. But again, thank you so very much for all that you do, and thanks to each and every one. With that, I'll just wrap the gavel. I'm going to go ahead and